Oh,
Still, but it is growing on me.
goddamn, Skip. Oh, so you go back to Rav the next day?
Um, in an ideal world, if Zoria has the spell slots, she will cast Sending and ask when the next day is the most appropriate for the turtle to swing by.
Oh, speak of the devil.
And he shall appear. Hey guys.
Were you planning on being here, Zodia?
Nope. I'm just not doing anything. I did fuck all today, so.
Hmm. Perfect.
But yeah, this is a lucky show only.
Oh, so you know about it.
I have been so nervous. I've just been vomiting info at him the last few days because I'm so nervous about this.
Uh-huh.
You'll do fine. Don't worry.
Ah, no, I won't.
You always say this, and things always turn out better than
No,
you
I
thought they
always
would.
listen back on the recording and I sound like a 5-year-old vomiting words in a room full of adults.
That's not how people from Boston sound like, so don't worry.
That's right, people from Boston are imbeciles, and I sound like one. So, yes, the next day, if Zoria is willing to lend a hand, um, she would ask that Ravnus be sent a message asking when the turtle should come by for a chat. If you're not amenable, I'll just swing by Ravnus anyway.
Um, Zora sees no opposition to that, just sends a message.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm not saying, because this is a lucky show only.
Yeah, sure. Fuck it. Why not? Come by whenever.
Mm. Go.
Cool. Well, Turtle heads to Rav's.
Mm-hmm. Bye, Pink.
You want to actively see my face? Okay, no problem.
It makes it so much more difficult for Lucky. Mm-hmm. So you go to Rav's. He's
I tell the gate guard I am expected.
mm, he's in his office, sitting there in red dragon scale mail, without a sword, just reading a book.
Is there anyone around?
No, it's just him in the office.
Excellent. Well, before we get down to business, I have a present.
Great.
Um,
Before we get down to business, is this a distraction for your friends to sneak in and steal my trophy?
what? What trophy? The
The
what?
drop.
No, no, that is not a trophy. At best, that's a shiny bauble. Um, no, no.
Good.
Um, and I thought I made it clear that I was on your side on this matter, and I did agree to send you heads, fingers, and/or chunks of skin if they got uppity.
A lot of people agree to a lot of things.
Well, you will find that I am not just talk. So, the turtle will fish a vial of holy water off of her belt, plonking it in front of Rav. A vial of holy water. It might become useful in the next coming days.
I don't necessarily see how, but holy water has value.
Shell will smile all teeth. That information is not free at the moment. However, what is free is an entirely different conversation.
Okay.
May I sit, or would you like to sit there and look up at me?
Oh, of course you may sit. It's fine.
Dartle takes a seat.
The chair groans underneath you.
Hush, chair. Alright, story time. Last time we met, we discussed my career, the length of it. And if you've done any research on me, you would know that I hail from Dern to Rim. Started my career about 60 years ago, give or take. In that city, as you may know, power transfers every 50 years. The old dwarvish family, you know them, I forget their name. It doesn't matter to this story. So at the time, about 55 years ago, I worked for a name by the name of Orsic Frostbeard. Lovely man. Smuggled bodies for him. And when the power exchange happened 55 years ago, we had a young buck take over the city. He had no experience. He had been cloistered in his little palace for his entire life. No rule, no nothing to his name except the royalty he was born into. And as you can expect, this man took power and cleaned out the city. Now, what do you think happened to Mr. Frostbeard's operation when this young buck took power?
Well, if he was smart, he would have kept going.
Oh, he kept going. But that man lost all of his lieutenants, half of his supply routes, and it was between the two of us, he lost a nasty patch of hair on his right side to a fireball. Never grew back properly, so the man looks like a camel with the weird haircut. He lost a lot. He was a strong and resilient organization, and he kept going. And he rebuilt. And then 50 years later, you know what happened?
What?
Power changed again. Now, instead of a young buck with no experience, a young lady took over. And this young lady was exceptionally intelligent. She understood that the underground in Dondram holds power. And why create casualties? And why piss off the people that hold the real power in the city? And the sweep never happened. Orsic thrived. Frostbeard's operation went fabulous. And that brings us to the present day. How much do you know about the air?
To Durntarin or to here?
Here.
Enough.
You also know that he has been cloistered in his little isolation hut
Yeah.
for however long he's been alive. You also know that he has held no seat of power significant in his life. And you also understand that if his daddy dies, he's likely to want to avenge him.
Sure.
In contrast, our patron employs us. She understands that dirty deeds must be done to achieve success.
They should be done dirt cheap.
Perhaps. And she also understands the value of the underground organizations in this city.
As I expect she would.
Yes. Now, if I recall the power structure in this wretched place, if the king dies, it goes to who?
Well, most likely the heir.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's a active queen, not just the king's wife.
Our research says it goes to the heir first. Because if questions of legitimacy arise, queen's first on the chopping block.
Yeah, there's a whole power struggle thing that I really don't give a shit about.
Hmm.
Continue.
I would like to propose that we make the equation simple. Instead of watching those two fuck around for power, and inevitably the citizens and underground of the city getting caught up in it, we simply correct the problem in a way that benefits everyone and reduces collateral.
Right. So you're asking me to remove the heir from the problem.
I'm asking you to remove his influence from the equation however you so deem it appropriate.
Sure.
And the follow-up question is therefore, what resources do you need from me to make that happen?
Favors. I could find him given a couple of days. Bring him down here, given a couple more, or send him somewhere else.
Excellent. Now, would you like this in writing, or is this going to be a gentleman's agreement?
Shell, you should know well enough that we don't put things in writing.
I know, but some of these things are magical in nature. You understand.
You owe me a favor if I do this for you. I'm not saying that I will. I'm saying that if the opportunity presents itself, it will be handled.
Excellent. Now, do you want the information on that holy water now, or do you want that later?
You said it's not free.
Information isn't cheap.
What's the price?
Cooperation,
In what regard?
the little problem we just discussed.
Ah. You see, now you bring me to a problem because I don't know how actually valuable your information is. Holy water can be used for a whole number of things.
Mm-hmm.
Sprinkle it on people to find out if they're undead or demons or unholy abominations from one of the nine hells.
Well, Ravnus, I hope you will consider who told you about the drow? Who told you about this plot we have cooking? And who collected how much money from Al-Nuzat for you? Let's consider the relationship of trust.
Okay. So what you're saying is that I should trust that your information is valuable.
based on the information you have.
Mm-hmm. Shell, I cannot guarantee, without ample planning and forethought, that I will go and capture the little shit.
I am not looking for guarantees, only a reasonable assurance of action.
A reasonable assurance of action. I'll put feelers out, but I won't move against my own benefit.
Of course, I wouldn't expect you to.
I won't send men to die needless deaths so that some little girl can have a kingdom.
No, but you will send men to die to protect your interests, benefit your organization, and keep your trade routes supplied throughout this war. Something to consider.
It is. I'll look into it. And if the opportunity presents itself, I'll handle it. Because dealing with a known is better than dealing with two unknowns.
Excellent. I'm glad we understand each other.
Great. Is there anything else?
If you don't want my information now, then I will leave. I wouldn't want to get in your hair.
Will you give me the information based off of what I've spoken to you?
Should I trust you that much?
No.
Well, then no.
You should never trust somebody like me, Shell.
Of course. So, I'll call it a future sharing point.
Sure.
Next time we meet.
Okay. Hmm. Are you expecting more demons?
That information's not free.
Oh, okay. I suppose you wouldn't tell me whether or not you're fearing the solstice, then,
That information is also not free.
or where you're gathering your information from.
That information is also not free. You see
As
how this works?
I suspect as much.
Two can play at this information game, Ravnus.
I'm not fearing the solstice, Shell. There haven't been any storms of late. The storm always precedes the invasion. And the last one was quite a disappointment, so I'm told.
Oh, it was quite a party, in my opinion.
I mean, the really last. But I recognize you've been to Melanthamar.
Oh, you did some research now, have you?
That's how I know your name, Shell.
Yes, yes. Oh, we know the name now. Ooh, booga booga.
No, not Booga Booga. I simply spoke with Dog.
As expected, I name dropped him enough.
Name dropped him once.
Twice.
Whatever. And I like to find out who's under my employ, even as temporary as things may be. But you all have proven yourselves useful. And I will keep that in mind in the future. I'm not concerned that you will go out and throw me under a cart and then back the cart up over me.
Where's the but?
There isn't one.
Oh. What a glowing review. You must have heard good things.
From Dog? Just some of your information. Didn't know you stayed there for the invasion, but I knew you were there.
So let's see. You have information on what, 6 months of my life?
No,
82 more to go.
I have your history, more or less. Roughly leading up to Melanthamar and events therein. After that, you seem to kind of fall off the radar a little bit. Then you showed up here with a bunch
Fate works
of,
in mysterious ways.
I didn't hear you.
Fate works in mysterious ways.
Certainly does. The Nurs fellow, haven't seen him in a while, but I used to know
That
one
information is
like
also
him.
not free.
Not concerned.
Of course not. A man of your position has nothing to fear.
I have things to fear. Death, one of them. But a man in my position doesn't stay in my position by acting rashly or on his fears.
I have accused you of none of these things.
No, you're right. You have not. You just you're just here offering information that I don't think I can afford. But if you deem that it is right to pay it to me in the future, hopefully it won't be too late.
There are many things that can be said about me, but late.
Great. What did your friends find at the library?
Do you want theories or do you want concrete information?
Anything. It's interesting. I
They
heard they were inside.
they were beset by a number of spectral, chaotic, otherworldly hands that came from the bookshelves themselves. And those that entered the bookshelves by being dragged by the arms stopped breathing, shall to speak. That does not mean they died, but it does suggest a number of possibilities.
It certainly does. Like, what's taking these people? Why? We've seen these events happen other places. I've heard of them. There are some of them are not so bad. Blood falling from the sky. Yeah, it happened. It's interesting. but not bad.
It's not relevant in most cases, but it does represent a thinning of the veil, which is what we should be concerned about.
Yes. And I have a researcher or two working on that.
Oh. For that information, I will be willing to pay quite a bit.
I'm not entirely certain on why it's happening, just that it is. The veil, generally strong, does thin throughout history and tend towards times of upheaval or bring about times of upheaval. At one point, the gods did walk this plane before they were locked behind the veil, some voluntarily, some against their will.
Well,
They,
wouldn't it be convenient that I know someone that has pierced the veil? And who happens to be in this very city right now?
it would. Who would that be?
I see Pinkett Stone on his camera.
Oh boy. Throw Idris
Oh.
under the bus or Nurs?
Oh, both, absolutely. Um, let's say that we have a former cleric under our guardianship that is deeply connected with much of what is going.
Former cleric, deeply connected. Oh, I'd love to get my hands on them.
I'd love to get my hands on your researchers. Equivalent exchange.
Well, it'll be a bit difficult considering they're not in the city.
That's not terribly inconvenient. Magical messages exist.
Yeah,
Would you happen to know where they are right now?
I do.
I would take a gander that they're about a week south of here.
A week south. Um, not unless they've moved recently,
Hmm.
but if you're referring to the drow,
No, I am not.
I would be disinclined to agree.
There just so happens to be a place of power deeply connected as well with this, a week south. And that
Oh,
information can be shared upon request.
the old dwarves' tomb. Yeah, I know of it. I haven't been there.
Perhaps your researchers should take a look if they find themselves with free time.
Sure. Except that's held in drow hands currently, so far
Which
as I
gives you
know.
all the more incentive to help these negotiations go more smoothly.
Sure, it does. What does this place of power have to do with anything?
Mm, see, I'm giving you a lot of information, but I'm not hearing a whole lot in return.
What would you like to know?
I would like to start with the researchers, their most prominent theories, and perhaps have a chat about the king and some of his predilections over the years.
The prominent theory is that there's something bound to this plane that should not be, weakening the veil. Some sort of artifact from one of the celestial planes, forming a bridge, or from the nine hells more appropriately, or the abyss.
Oh, I can assure you the cleric is definitely from the abyss.
You think it's them, or the cleric.
Not just the cleric, but that would be a start.
Interesting. And pretty easy to find out. Spells exist to send creatures back to their home planes. Bring your cleric here and we'll send them home.
No.
Seems like a simple solution, simple test. If they go, then they are obviously part of the problem.
They are under our guardianship until otherwise noted. It would take significant promise from you in order to put them in that kind of danger. I know how this game works. You're not getting your hooks in them until I want you to have your hooks in them.
That's fair. But nothing points to it being a them in the research that my minions have carried out. But nothing points to it being an it. It's always just assumed that when something shitty is pulling between the worlds, between the planes, it's an item. Because 99% of the time, it's true. If you read in the history books, are you holding a finger up to him?
To you, because I need to roll for something real quick.
Uh,
Okay. Continue.
uh,
I'm trying to see if Shell recalls the description of the knife from the others, but
oh,
she rolled low enough, I'm gonna say no.
sure.
Who's the DM?
The whatever wields this artifact would have to be powerful to maintain its presence here and to hide it from those that would be searching for it.
Luckily for you, I have information on that. The who, the what, not the where or the why, but enough to get you started. And wouldn't you like to know, our dear patron Lady Katarine has additional information that she might deign to inform you of, if and when her transition into power takes effect.
Oh, good. I have lunch with her tomorrow.
Ah, tell Lady Katarine that, no, I don't want to talk to that bitch. Tell Gore that he's a good boy.
Sure. It'll be nice to, I guess, give her an early wedding present.
I hope it's not pointy.
Not particularly. I don't intend on stabbing her.
Oh, but of course there's poison, there's a club, there's magic. So that assurance is hardly.
Why would I go through the bother of lunch?
Because you're all about showmanship, Ravnus.
It's so inefficient.
It's so inefficient, but damn, it feels good to be dramatic sometimes.
Sometimes, sure. But I'm not putting my face out there as killing the next queen or being anywhere near her when she dies.
Smart man.
No. If I find it necessary that she dies, it won't be by my hand. I'm sure the drow would do it for me.
Unlikely.
Eh, that's fine. They probably won't be around long enough anyway. Or maybe they will. I'm not overly concerned about them anyways.
You are in a position where you can afford not to care.
Oh, I care. I just am not concerned that it's going to affect the grand scheme of things.
Yes, 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 I misspoke.
But I will send my researchers to look into your little place of power. Do you care to share how it relates more specifically to your cleric?
I believe that I will need an investment of trust in some way, shape, or form from your organization in order to proceed with more information.
An investment of trust. What does that even look like, Shell?
That's up to you to decide,
Do
Ravnus,
you want a
and for me
sticker?
to judge. That's not a thing!
Put glue on a piece of paper and
No, unless it's a magical sticker.
it'll make you magical.
I'm already magical, Ravnus. What
Great.
part of being raised from the goddamn dead do you not understand?
As far as I understand it, you haven't died.
Maybe your researchers aren't as competent as they think.
They're not researching you.
Maybe they should be.
Are you tied to this?
I don't know, Ravnus. Let's see an investment of trust, and then we'll talk.
Yeah. If you expect me to tell you my plans, just out and out, that's not going to happen.
Oh no, absolutely not. But you can't expect me to spill every bean I know in exchange for half-truths and assurances.
I don't give half-truths.
They're full truths, delivered in such a way as to be a lie or totally twisted around so that it's useless to the party receiving them.
or easily escapable. Let's not forget that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Weasels don't get sucked into jet engines.
what's a jet engine?
A rock. Weasels don't get attacked by rocks.
I was thinking that same thing earlier today.
I was too. I put way too much thought into what the equivalent of a jet engine would be.
You're right. They don't. But so far as I know, they are a favorite snack of boulettes.
Perhaps another day.
Maybe. If I have if I have opportunity to acquire certain assets, I will take it. Because having certain assets under one's power, as you know and can imagine, is always beneficial as opposed to having certain assets under one's dirt.
Of course.
Now, short of that assurance, and what my researchers have found, do you have anything else?
I will swing by tomorrow for another chat. It might be another chat like this. We might just have biscuits. We'll see what the wind does.
Great. Come by in the evening. I have lunch with a princess. Queen to be? Doesn't matter.
They're all the same. They all bleed red.
Unless they're a tiefling.
Or a king.
Kings bleed red. I've seen it.
Perhaps a topic for tomorrow.
Sure.
Wish Gore well.
Yeah. Have a good afternoon, Shell.
Good afternoon, Ravenous.
And Shell leaves the office in the warehouse. Dying inside.
Dying on the inside. Oh, that covers so well. But